The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host, David White, who's just a little bit behind on the 8-ball today. He just had a couple things come up right before the show here that had to be taken care of. So I'm going to get just a slow open out here as I get a couple things fired up, if I can actually find them now. I remember I got one here, and, oh, that's what I need. There we go. Tried my den feed up, and we'll get that all fired up and started, and we'll be ready to go here in just a second. Got another day out here that's, how would you say, just, not a nothing day, but it is one of these days where we really don't have a great deal more volume than any other day out here, and we've been watching at one point just under 1.7 billion shares for the day, off 2.5 points on the S&P cash, and it continues to be one of these extremely narrow range markets, and short covering. I can kind of start to see it in many highly short stocks. We're seeing a little bit of that. Of course, we've got this is Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wallenchuck Wednesday. And during that day, we will be seeing, of course, the option market makers going to delta neutral. And part of that is that they're going to try to wiggle the market around a little bit. I think what we have today is a little bit to the downside. I suspect we'll probably see a little bit more to the upside tomorrow and probably end up flat again. 80% of all options expiration cycles end up being higher than the low of tomorrow. So it's always an important benchmark to take a look at. But we shall continue saying. But what else do we have going on out here? Well, we want to look back on history as normally we do. On this day in 1997, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed above 7,500 for the first time. If you read the most of the comments from market participants, it seemed at least one chieftain of the street at that time said, seems to inspire equal parts awe and dread among many investors. I think that we could probably say that is the same as today. At the end of the year, it was 7,900 and some odd change, I think 7,950 on the Dow. But it was much more a factor that most people had not been watching as to this point, and that was the rise of a particular company called Long-Term Capital Management. This company was going head over heels in leverage, and I think what we could see up to the market crash / correction of 1998 in October, when Long-Term Capital Management blew up, was a leveraged market, and a market that probably went much faster than it should have up to that point. And of course, we were really starting to pick up the whole dot-com fever in this time. So when you had the magic or massive correction in September, October of 98, you basically were setting that all up for a market that was rewarding gambling more than trading and investing. I always like Jesse Livermore's book when he said the big difference in his trading came when he finally understood the difference of trading and knowing that he should win on form and gambling. And when he figured that out, life was a lot easier. But I digress, and of course, we digress very often on this. I got to take care of something here for just a second. I got my headphones wrapped around something here at the end, and I thought, well, it'll be easy. I'll just take care of it. I'll put them on later. And, of course, later never came. There was 3 other things that needed to have and be done. But that would be it. But, yes, that's why the finger was in my ear. I needed to get this cable, and I haven't been back to TFNN to get it. I left it there last time. And this cable here is just a little too short. But anyway, that is one thing. I did want to get on to some of the other news that is going on. Of course, if you've been watching any of the financial infotainment television, you'll know that E3 is going on. It is the computer convention. I wouldn't call it computer convention. It is the games convention, somewhat PC-based, but mostly wrapped around Xbox and PlayStation, that kind of stuff. So we're hearing a lot of what's going on in that sector today. And I've got a play based on that going on right now that they're actually doing fairly good for me today. So I'm happy about that. But we do have a market that is very focused on that probably for the next couple of days. If you check anywhere around on the game sites, the trailers are out for what will be this Christmas's fair, and the games are absolutely breathtaking in their scope. And I can easily see now how $500 million will go into some of these games over the next couple of years. There is one game that I think $380 million this year. And then, of course, I forget, it was Activision. Yeah, Activision has one that's going to be $500 million. And just the amount of effort to go into these, you could make 10 or 15 movies now. But one of them I thought was very interesting because I forget which the game was, but they basically hired Kevin Spacey to come in and be the bad guy in it. And he's basically dialoguing on the whole theme of the game. And it's kind of in the future. I think it's like 50, 40 years in the future. And you're a warrior, but you've got little jet packs, so you can like jump off the top of the high buildings. And just as you get ready to crash on the ground, the little jets fire off and make you give a nice little landing. But other weird things, but it's all, of course, a post-apocalypse kind of very retro, dirty-looking, dark-looking games, but very interesting. But they continue to sell well. Of course, Grand Theft Auto 5 is and has been rumored to be coming out this fall, and there are some versions of that being played around. But that's it. We've talked about Netflix, I think, pretty much into last week, running particularly blaming ads if your Netflix connection wasn't fast enough with Verizon. They said basically last night that they would quit that, but still going on, and probably still going on until the 15th. And you kind of wonder about placing the blame on why you can't get your video streaming in a timely manner. But my guess is there's going to be, just looking at the CapEx for companies like Verizon and Comcast, these guys are spending absolutely no money to really expand their offering. And my question is, at what point does Netflix become so successful that you can't watch it anymore? Kind of like, what was the guy's name? I'll be thinking about it here. He always said it was, the place was so popular that no one went there anymore. He was a second baseman. Someone on the den will probably tell me soon enough if I can actually find my den. Where's it at? There it is. But it is, what was it? Yogi Berra, that's who it was. But that's pretty much what we're looking at. I wanted to see if there was any more real interesting news out here before we go on to the stocks that are actually starting to move. More, mostly a lot of news about the games coming out of E3. See if there was anything else here in the last few minutes. Maybe some things I'll talk about later on the show if we get time. But mostly game-centric stuff right now. And a lot of games out there that game companies that we can invest in. But these things are going to be quite huge. And it's going to be feast or famine. These things are going to either make billions and billions, or they're going to fail one day, and that's going to be the end of a company. So kind of a risk-reward out there is pretty high. But I digress, as we always do. We'll look at a few of the companies that were actually moving fairly strongly today. Weibo Corporation WB is one of, it was up to $19.96 earlier in the day. Not a lot of volume. This is one of the recent IPOs from China. Of course, it is important with the coming rollout of probably late August, first couple of weeks of September for Alibaba's IPO. They were really trumpeting this earlier in the morning when it was up at $19.65, but back down at $19.33. Not a real mover. Taking a little bit of the steam and wind out of the sails of this market. Let's see. Okay. Just wanted to check real quick. 1.72 billion shares with, what do we have? Off 2.7 points on the S&P cash. So not a lot out there that you can really hang your hat on. Apple's up 38 cents. GLD's up a bit, 64 cents. So, but I wouldn't say we're making any kind of real move. Beav Aerospace off fairly hard today. One of the few stocks really moving, picking up a bit of a volume and actually coming back to this gap. The gap up was on May 5th here. That had 8.3 million shares. We've gotten back into the first time on that with about 2 million shares. We've got about 4.3 million shares, but actually doesn't look too bad. BE Aerospace is going to be splitting into two divisions. They make a lot of cabinets for private jets. They also make some aeronautic equipment that goes in the plane, but they've decided they're going to split the company apart. Unclear why people don't like this. Maybe they're going to saddle one of the companies with a great deal of that debt. Anyway, we're going to break it. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648 when we come back. Or you can email me at path@tfnn.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different future contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a free 2-week trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the signal box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Andy Heck's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we had a quick question in the den about MasterCard. It did make a nice little Gartley pattern. The energy on the way up was very light. The question would be, did it break the B point on more or less volume? That would have been 5.5 million shares, and basically had 9 million shares on the 1st of May. So it did break the B point with higher volume. That would say that would negate the Gartley pattern. Now, this thing's just going sideways, not a lot of energy out here. Things can change, but to this point right now, if you take off the Gartley and go back to just a little reset, what you're really looking at out here is that day high on May 1st. Now, it didn't hold it, but you did have the energy to break the B point, and that's not something you want, even if it reversed the same day. It came back in to that B point with 4.3 million shares. Now, not a great deal of volume out here, but you did even have a 5.5 million shares at 77.98, and you would have liked to see the energy all come out at those highs, not just on the way back up, which had pretty poor volume. So I can see that part of it. But just like if your best buddy starts calling you names, if you're smiling, you know he's basically kidding. And you want both the energy in that leg and the highs to tell you the same story, to let you know that they really truly mean business. This is a little bit of both, and I can't see where you can really make a great determination. I think there are much better shorts out here in the financial space, and I'm looking at one in my newsletter, and hopefully I get a bounce to get into it tomorrow. I think you could probably be both short and long individual stocks out here. Pairs trading probably not a bad thing to do. But to me, MasterCard, probably one of the harder ones to play out here. You didn't want that higher volume on that spike and on the May 27th high back out here, even though it just matched the actual B point. So, enough. Okay. So what else do we have? Wanted to go back and look at some of the other movers out here. Burl, what's the Burlington stores, BURL is the symbol. Now, a nice pop-up on this one. I'm trying to remember the news on this. Beat EPS by 3 cents, reported revenues in line, guided Q2 EPS in line, reaffirmed fiscal year 15 EPS guidance, and comp guidance. Q1 comps up 2.7%. So I guess that cold winter continues with people buying more clothes even into this last quarter. CTSH, and that is what? Downgraded to neutral from a positive at Susquehanna. With as light a volume we have, some of these upgrade downgrades are probably going to have a little bit more effect than they would normally with a lot less people on the other side of any of these faux news stories. Volume did pick up today here, and you would say this thing probably just did its 50% retracement and was ready to go back on. Yeah, you basically had basically 618, $50.84 would have been the 618. You came in at $50.31, and that would set up an expansion. And I think we probably have $30.40, 53.40. There we go. Now that would be one. You could also say that this is the expansions. So I could say this is the A. Also say this is the B. And that point was the C. And that would put you up for 60% retracement. And then 1-to-1 ABC would take you to 42.64, which is the bottom of this gap that comes to you from November 5th of 2013. 7.8 million shares that day. So it's probably going to be pretty tough. It's probably not enough volume. You have this high volume low at 44.96. So you could say if this is going to continue down, their first stop is going to be 44.96. Probably going to get, especially this summer, hard to get a lot of these stocks at these trading range with higher volume as we watch them. When we come back, we're going to talk about Facebook and why it's popping a little bit today. You can also give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com and put a message in the dim. We'll be back in a minute.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. We were talking about Facebook when we left. It is up today, at least what people are saying. It's up today on an issue, and that issue is that they basically stole some decent talent away from PayPal and eBay. Of course, Carl Icahn made a bid for eBay to split itself away from PayPal. PayPal, or the eBay CEO, decided that it wasn't in his best interest, eBay not doing that well. And, of course, PayPal doing very well. If it split and he was left as the CEO of eBay, he'd probably be getting the extremely short end of the stick. A lot of the high-paid talent over at PayPal that's been there since the beginning has decided to skip ship. I think this is the third major executive over at PayPal in the last week to leave. He's going to, this is the guy, for a better description, figured out how to monetize PayPal and really get the most amount of money out of it. And the thought is that that's what he's going to do at Facebook, is finally figure out a way to really extract money out of the customers at Facebook. And why it's up on what is a regularly kind of average day out here in the marketplace. So not much actually doing. But and certainly when we look at 130 million shares the last time we were up in the $65 range on April 24th, just not going to do a whole lot for this thing. Breaking with half the volume so far, my guess is we're not going to get anywhere close to 130 30 million shares here today, although it is a big day. And one of them won minor highs at April 24th. My guess is they want to push this up to 72.59 for yet another retrace. Very tough to see what's going on inside Facebook these days. ISIS Pharmaceuticals, it was up. Company earned $15 million from the AstraZeneca for initiation of phase 1 study tests. And, kind of a smaller company, but still good for about a 7% bounce out here. Actually, if it would have had more of a little bit of reaction out here for May 14th, could have been a Gartley pattern, just didn't really retrace enough, but a nice little W pattern out here, and decent volume also. And when we look at the IB, of course, the same thing. This thing is just doesn't have a lot of energy, but certainly is moving back up on lighter energy each day. We're back up at least in this and went through this 245 range, which is the last major high for the IBB on April 2nd, 3.2 million shares. So you'd love to have seen 3.2 million shares as you went back through that high. And when we look at the 5th of June out here, 1 million shares, 674,000 shares the next day, 1.4 million shares the next day. Today, 1.1 million shares. So we're probably looking at not a great deal of volume compared to the April 22nd high. And when we look at the April 2nd high, which we've gone through too, that was 3.2 million shares. So, either one that you use, we're basically out here at about 50% of the volume on the IBB. Now, there are two really big candles with huge volume, and those come from March 21st and the 24th. So that would have been Friday and a Monday. Those had 5.5 million shares for one and 6.5 million shares for the other. We're basically into that and at the top of that second candle from the 24th. And we are now going up against that 5.5 million share day of the 21st of March. So just keep an eye on that. And my guess is there isn't a lot more left in the tank for these. And we're probably going to be looking at more of a rotation market as probably something comes out of these biotechs and we get a little bit more elsewhere. We talked about Netflix a little bit earlier. Kind of interesting that they came out today to throw a bunch of upgrades around it, upgraded from or to overweight from equal weight at Evercore Financial. And I don't put a great deal into these, but this was much higher earlier in the morning. 436.04 was the high today, given pretty much about half of that back. So not as much as you would once see out here. But again, this is a company that has got pretty decent energy. Once it had that high and tested that low from 312.10 back on April 15th. Unfortunately, it did it with higher volume and a lot more volume, basically about 35% more volume back on that April 28th low. So we're looking for some kind of setup. It really looks to me, though, this thing wants to go tag that 458 from March 6th from before. So great deal of that. KWKI, do I have that on here? Filed for an offering of 7 million or 8 million ADRs. So going to be issuing some stocks by selling shareholders. Announced the company's board of directors elected a new chairman. And, of course, a nice big move yesterday, giving a great deal of that back today and picking up a little bit of volume compared to yesterday. QIWI is the symbol on that one. TAP, of course, we all love cereal malt beverages here at TFNN. And, of course, Molson Coors having a huge day out here. It looks like it is a takeover target. SAB Miller, I guess it's got to probably be the Miller Old Mover Brewing Company with the new European owners, SAB. But I haven't followed that company since it split so much, but certainly up and huge volume. Nice big day for Coors, but this is the kind of thing that doesn't look much like rumor as truth with all the volume in this. To see if we have anything else going on. Okay. Nothing in the den. Just check my email real quick. Path. There we go. Okay. Let's see if I can get to that at the break. But what else do we have going on here? I've got plenty of time. So we'll look at a few others. Tyson Foods, of course, it really looked like this company was giving way too much away in its acquisition, and it's been falling since. Kind of interesting that it went up to this previous high with higher volume and rolled over, but certainly a news-driven event. It's did finally come back down to its previous low that had 6.7 million shares, but we already have 10 million shares now. So for this whole food sector that has gone takeover crazy, kind of interesting to see the people that are the losers in this actually come back down to where this all started back in the end of January with pretty decent volume, actually, kind of negating all this run that it had since the day it broke out there on January 31st. So I'm sure Andy would be interested in that stock. Actually, I was typing at Andy since he can't speak. One of the rare occurrences since his mother bored him. He had all his wisdom teeth taken out. But seems to be in good spirits. And we were talking about names that mothers had been giving their kids. And he came up with one that was pretty good. His mother had a child that was named Female, as she was a school teacher. I don't think that would probably actually be a very good name for a child. I was betting that in the next couple of years that I would find out that kids were starting to be named after some of these drugs, like Profafil. Doesn't that sound like a kid's name now that they'd be coughing up? Anyway, I diverge from our show. We talked about Weibo and the rest. Want to get back to some of the stocks that had been testing highs. So we'll get back to that. I was looking at Agilent, of course, AG, T's, and C's, all about the DNA. And this one of the few stocks out here that coming up with basically 20% of the volume of the last high. So I thought this was very interesting. Probably setting up a bigger trading stocks. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we're going to go back and look at it. This thing gapped down with heavy volume. That was on the 14th of February as we came back up to the first time and retested that gap March 6th. You had 5.1 million shares to that 17 million. And again, just the last 3 days, 1.2 million, 1.2 million, and 750,000 so far today. But certainly looks like that 59.50, 59.60 range finds just the end of the buyers and certainly a load of sellers out here in Agilent. Other stocks of interest, the Brinks Company. Been watching some of these also to see whether or not they really tap out today. So in watching BCO, this thing gapped down on heavy volume on the 15th of April. 2.5 million shares, almost 2.6 million shares. Been working its way back up to fill this gap up. In the last couple of days, 283,000, 267,000. Today, 127,000, making a little kind of hanging man out here for the candle today. So these are just a few that I'm going to keep my eye on over the next few days. As I said, I could be both long and short this market. It's much more about the stock now with markets not moving very much. And what do we have? We're off $2.6 on the S&P cash at 1948.67 with 1.86 billion shares. So again, light volume, and no real clear sense of where this market's going. Even Apple, after its big split, up 45 cents with, I guess, decent volume, 45 million shares. But, of course, I'm going to have to get used to it going up that much. Let's see what else we have out here. C.H. Robinson Worldwide, CHRW is the symbol on this one. You wanted to see some fairly decent volume for these highs back from September 20th of last year with 2.8 million shares, 2.9 million shares on November 4th of last year. This thing's hitting this gap that's been around for a while. Let's go back and look at that gap. And it is a huge one. This gap goes back to, let's get the date here for you, the 6th of February in 2013, where this thing came down on 6.4 million shares and set up that gap that we're banging up against here forever. It went back down to $50.21 that really hasn't been tested. And I don't know if that's enough volume. You certainly have the huge volume down day for yet another gap that's been filled and yet another gap. So you could almost make a play on this one as a three-gap play, possibly on the way back down after it touches this gap one more time, probably in the 62s, which is what I'm watching for. So what else do we have here? Okay, C-Trip. Again, we were talking about these Chinese internet companies. This is up. Not any kind of volume to write home about, but finally filling a gap. That gap started on November 6th of last year. 9.7 million shares. We're going into it with 1.6 million shares today. But we have effectively closed that gap. Of course, this is the travel company over in China. And you just can't really say. I mean, you basically had 6.9 million shares February 27th, 4.4 million shares on April 10th as we got into this price range. Now that we're breaking these highs, 1.6 million shares, boy, it is getting thin out here. EWH, which is the Hong Kong Index Fund, when we look at this one, it has effectively closed back underneath its previous high, but another one out here that was challenging a fairly decent high out here from April 14th. And basically at 4.1 million shares as we got back into that high over the last 6 days, or at least approaching the high, 1.4, 2.8, 1.8, 1.6. So at best, 75% of the volume in these Hong Kong index funds. So even these emerging markets, as they're called, not doing that whole bit. When we come back, we're going to look at FCG, which is the natural gas index fund. This one's kind of interesting. Another one up here. Even in natural gas, tough to get any kind of energy or any volume. So we will be back in just a minute.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Join Andy Hecht as he teaches you how to make money in commodities. The Commodities Hour, next on TFNN.
And as we look at natural gas, off a little bit today, but I think we had a little foreshadowing that it was probably about as good as it's going to get for probably the next month. I suspect once we get into the heat of the summer, we're going to see a little bit more strength in natural gas. But probably, we're going to have a hurricane or something that disrupts flow, some other issue out here to really move it along. I don't think we've got much of a pullback in it, especially with the new coal regulations that basically will bankrupt anybody trying to use coal to generate electricity. It will be interesting to see whether or not the power generation stations can live up to that standard. There's going to be even more, of course, coming out, those new regulations coming out. But even now, we've been ramping those up, and they are going to be tougher again, even this summer and next fall. All positive for natural gas, problematic for people paying electric bills. But I'm looking at the ISE Revere Natural Gas Index Fund, FCG. This one made a fairly decent test of the previous high from April 24th. That day, $22.90, 870,000 shares with what do we have? 380,000 shares that day, $22.96. So what can you say? A few other ones that have been kind of defying gravity out here is FedEx. This is another one that came up very, very light volume. It has not failed yet. Up again today on extremely light volume. My guess is that we're probably going to see corrections in a few of these tomorrow during options expiration, but I don't see a lot of impedance when these things are down for shorts to really hop on them. Of course, this was testing the January 2nd high at 144.39, 3.3 million shares back into it a week ago, 1.2 million shares, 943,000 shares, 1.3 million shares. And the best day that you can probably give it is that, what do we have here? 1.9 million shares. So you're at least 30% off the previous highs from that January 2nd high out here. But with the market not rolling over, kind of hard to get FedEx to roll over, especially with all the indexes it's in. I wanted to look at some of these. Looked at Netflix. Royal Caribbean cruises is kind of interesting in that they can kill off a bunch of their customers, run their ships aground, give all the people that ride it diarrhea, and people are still dying to get on these things, apparently. But maybe not so much anymore. This thing's back up to its previous high, April 2nd. That is $56.66, 1.9 million shares. Got into it yesterday with 1.2 million shares. Today, 420,000 shares, but really not backing up any, just very, very light volume out here. But probably a better read on this thing, probably in a trading range in the 57s back down to the $50 range over time. Normally, this has some seasonal weakness until the winter gets fired back up again. Kind of strange to see this thing out here in June back up at the highs, but maybe if you just can't kill enough people, the thing's going to still go higher out here. We talked about Valspar a few days ago. A lot of these stocks up here with little or no volume still hanging out here, but Valspar today with a little doji out here, so the risk is starting to heat up. No Andy today. They're playing Jaws. Andy, of course, out. Give him some white light in the den. He'll be back probably next Tuesday. He's feeling a little bit rough from all those wisdom teeth being.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.